All right, so did you see anything in that video that reminded you of something that you've been through, or just some feedback on where you saw maybe some controlling behavior happen in that video?
I've seen my friends go through that crap.
Yeah? Like what?
Like the not being able to wear what they wanted to, having to not be around their friends. I only had one friend that I ever lost because of that, and I didn't want to lose her, it just happened. Because it became unsafe for me to be her.
Right. And what about the technology in there? What does that remind you of? Right? Do you think there's some truth in that?
Yeah.
Right? What about sexual abuse? Did you see any sexual abuse happen in there? I gave you a super hint before when we were talking about the power and control wheel.
Like, if you don't give it to me, you'll get it from somebody else.
If you don't give me the attention I need, you're going to get it from somewhere else, right? And what was she scared of?
Him cheating on his ex.
Right, she was scared of losing him. And what was she doing then? What did she end up doing?
Doing everything for it.
Right, what time was she going to his house?
2 in the morning.
2 o'clock in the morning, right? And if you remember the power and control wheel, talked about sexual coercion, so making threats to get sex.
I myself experienced the whole spending money on the person and them never doing it, which is weird because I'm a female, but the baby's dad, I did that a lot with him, like a lot. And I just recently stopped it. It happened a lot, and when he had money, it was like video games, marijuana, let's get high. And I was like, well, let's go to the movies, like, let's kick back.
But if you wanted to do that stuff, you had to pay for it.
Yeah, all the time.
I was like that too, and my partner didn't have a car, lives with his mom at 20 years old. 30 minutes away from me, takes $10 of gas to get down there. And I would go down there every day, I would give him whatever he wanted, money. You want food? What do you want? Go to, just food. So I did that for 2 years.
Before you realize that that's not cool.
Yeah.
I don't deserve this.
And sometimes I still think, I still don't realize, but I've come a long way from where I have been.
Well, good for you.
I've been with my adopted parents since I was born, but I met my birth parents when I was 12, 13, and I don't know, it gave me a lot of abandonment issues, definitely.
And we talk about abandonment issues, about, don't leave me because I don't want to be alone. But then there's the other spectrum also. You feel like you're not good enough for this person and he picked you out of everybody. So, wow, how can I let him go now? That's also hard.
Well, again, as we were talking earlier about that 85% of the time that everything's so great, right? You don't want to lose that, right? So that 15% of the time that maybe they're being controlling, it's hard. Baby! Aww. So the verbal and emotional abuse, which is the name calling to putting someone down, threatening to hurt oneself, that whole threat of suicide, all that would be considered the verbal and emotional abuse. Okay. So let's look at physical abuse a little bit, right? So physical abuse, right, is anything one partner does to physically harm the other partner on purpose. But on purpose when you hurt somebody. So in this picture, everybody knows who this is?
Yeah.
Okay. So why do you think I used this picture?
She was violent.
She was violent.
She pushed him down. Didn't she push him downstairs?
She kicked him down the stairs. She was like, "Get out of here!" Yeah, she was pretty violent. And that is one of the reasons why I use this, because she did go to jail. Amber did go to jail for domestic violence, right? But there's a reason I use this picture too, not just because she's a teen mom and she was very violent to him. But why do you think I use this picture?
Because it doesn't only happen where the man hits the woman.
Because it doesn't only happen where the man hits the woman, right? Females can be pretty aggressive these days, right? Okay, so Rihanna and Chris, right? The teen icon, the ideal model couple in the world, right? They had been together for 2 years, and here they are at the pre-Grammy party. And right before this, right when they left this party, here they are, the happy couple, and he gets a text message from another girl, right? And it was a text girl that he had been previously sexually active with. So, of course, Rihanna got upset about it. They got in a fight. They're in the car after this, and at some point during this fight, he snapped. okay? And he beat her up and assaulted her to the point where she was almost unconscious, all right? And if you read the affidavit, I mean, he was really violent with her. He like punched her in the face repeatedly, put her in a headlock, bit her ear. I mean, it went on for a pretty long time until she was able to finally get out of the car. He stopped and she was able to get out of the car. Do any of you think that Rihanna had some fault in this situation? Why?
Just like by the way she said everything, she was an aggressor also. Like if he got a text message from this woman, yeah, there's a way to react, and yeah, he might have snapped, but there's other there's got to be like another story. Like couldn't have been just her,
Okay.
or just him. It's usually two people. I
So
mean,
she
sometimes
instigated it on some level, is what you're saying?
yes,
Okay.
at
Yeah,
some
but
point.
you might instigate a fight, but there's no reason a guy should ever hit you.
No one has
No.
to get punched in the face, dude.
No,
Let me tell you
there's
from
no
firsthand.
excuse for that. Period.
No one
End
has
of
to get
discussion.
beat like that.
Did she have a right to get upset about that, do you think? And did she have a right to express that anger, even if she was yelling a little bit? Okay. And did she have a right to express that anger without the fear of getting hit?
Yeah.
Do we all have that right?
Yeah.
Okay, so in that moment, we have to say, Rihanna really didn't have any fault in this situation, did she? Because she was just doing what we all have the right to do and say, I'm mad. I'm mad at you. You totally did something that hurt my feelings. I'm going to let you know about it. And I have the right to do that without the fear of you assaulting me for it, right? But the point of it is we all have the right to express how we feel, especially if we're hurt. Where it's okay that we get angry without the fear of getting hurt, okay?
And the fact that the population thinks that way makes me kind of disgusted. That they think that she did something to get hit, because no one ever wants to get hit. No one ever did something to get hit. It's the other person not being able to control whatever's going on with them.
Right. Right, but it's easy to see how you can see that, especially with everything we're talking about, right? I mean, what was she doing looking at his phone, and was it any of her business, right? But no matter what, we do have the right to get angry, regardless of what we're getting angry about, and express that without the fear of getting hurt. There's two other things I want to mention about these two. Rihanna talks about, in an interview on Diane Sawyer, talks about how when she grew up, she watched her mom get abused by her dad, and he even broke her nose one time. And she swore she would never be with a man that treated her that way. And then Chris Brown, on an interview with MTV, talked about watching his mother, when he was 16, watching his mom get abused by her boyfriend. And he swore he would never put his hands on a female that way. So it doesn't mean that you're bound to be in an abusive relationship when you get older, but just be aware, especially those of you that have children, that when you witness domestic violence as a child, it puts you at a higher risk for being involved in abusive relationships when you get older.